And the best medium coverage foundation is, yeah, that's what we're gonna find out. With Simplicity versus Ere Perez, these kind of lend themselves to drier skin types, possibly sensitive skin types. Check the ingredients lists for yourself because it can vary. But we're going to do a side-by-side battle, and you can see the in-depth reviews along with what I would recommend instead. My favorites back on the Style Shaker if you want to dig in further. First, we're kicking it off with Simplicity. I do have full face demos back there as well. I'm just going to do a side-by-side on my actual skin so you can see what's up. I just did a resurfacing mask. Skin's a little bit red. I love this resurfacing mask. But anyway, with Simplicity is $42. There are currently 16 shades available. I first tried shade 1. I first tried shade 1.5 and I ended up really liking 1 better than 1.5. It has less of a yellow undertone for me, a pea-sized amount here, and show you one of the key differences in terms of coverage. I think you need less with Simplicity. The brush really matters. But overall, I find that I need a little bit less product with Simplicity. So this is silicone free. There's no coconut anything inside of this, which some of you might like. It's an aloe first formula. It does contain squalane and has a very, very subtle vanilla scent. I don't mind it. I don't find it to be overwhelming, but just wanted you to know. Second, the medium coverage claim holds true. And like you're gonna see, that pea-sized amount gives really, really, really strong coverage without having to do much. But it also builds really easily. It just feels lightweight, like a lightweight cream. There's limited glow also with Simplicity in terms of finish. I feel like this looks a little bit less glowy, a little bit more blurring, if you want to call it that. So it looks a little bit more natural in that regard, but it works well if you want to put something a little bit dewier underneath, like a moisturizer or an SPF. There is no sunscreen inside of these. That's fine for me, but just wanted to let you know that as well. Layering is going to be key here. So if you don't want it to be super glowy, then that might already have you leaning a bit towards with Simplicity, because as you're going to see, the Ere Perez is a little bit glowier in finish. The other thing, speaking of finish, is, and again, these are just high level kind of notes that I wanted you to see or hear and see the demo. I don't find this to need powder to set, to last. The wear test here was really, really strong, and it just kind of did its thing with very little amounts of product. So let's talk about the Ere Perez really quickly. This is the oat milk foundation. I have had this for years. It was one of the first products I tried back in the day. $44. There used to only be 8 shades available. I have this in shade malt. And you can see this shows up a little bit stronger, but it blends out. Same amount of coverage in my opinion. But yes, I have this in shade malt, 16 shades now. That was going to be one of the key differentiators back in the day, but now that they've kind of ramped things up, I think that's a plus. This is also silicone free. I just wiped this off, by the way. And you're going to probably see, well, you tell me how coverage looks comparison wise. I think they both hit medium. This might do medium to full, which is the claim. So I think, yeah, I think it's getting there. And that was a very small amount. I probably apply for full face with the Ere Perez. I'll use about a dime size, and I need to. This is going to blend really nicely too. I tend not to build this because it can get a little dewy, but that's just me. If you have dry skin, you might really welcome the extra moisture. What it feels like, in my opinion, is an opaque day cream. The shade malt is also very luckily a really good shade match for me. This is a little on the pinkier side. I might just layer 1.5 on top of it and let you just see the difference. We can look at it together. So finally, for the Ere Perez, yes, you have a dewy finish here. In terms of a wear test, I really did need to bring a powder in for myself. I know mature skin types are nervous about powders. You might not need one. I happen to love the Jones Road Yellow powder. And press on top. And that seems to lock it in. It also gives me a finish. See, that's like a really good combination. It also gives me a bit more of a blur. It looks a little bit cleaner. It doesn't look heavy. I think the added moisture in Ere Perez helps with that. So I'm going to show you with Simplicity the other shade as well, so you can just get a sense of what that looks like. Might be helpful. I don't know. In the side-by-side comparison, sometimes I notice these things as I'm doing them. That's why I think comparisons happen to be one of the easiest things to work off of. That's when I find my actual favorites. So with Simplicity, I feel like you're now seeing, even before the powder, the With Simplicity has a medium, light to medium coverage. I used less, so let's apply more of the other shade and see how it compares. But right now, you tell me, but I'm seeing stronger coverage on this side with Ere Perez. So this again is shade 1.5 from With Simplicity, and I'm going to put about a pea-sized amount on this side. It was a pea-size on my finger. It just looks like more. Let's clean this brush and press her in. Okay. All right, as I'm filming this, I'm starting to realize that I think I might like 1.5 more than 1. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is now having me lean towards 1.5. And I was totally different before filming this. It's the With Simplicity 1.5. That's the Ere Perez with a little bit of powder on top. I'll just take the powder so we make it apples to apples. It doesn't need it, but you can see that this is going to get, to me, this looks like an even fuller coverage. Sorry, by the way, I was just testing these RMS eyeshadows again. They do not blend out well. Everything that I'm wearing on my face, I will put in the links below so you can see it. But yeah, I'd say these are pretty close in my opinion, except for, of course, the ingredients are going to be a little different. A minor bump in price for the Ere Perez. Shade ranges are very close. However, the finish seems to be the key differentiator between the two. You're going to get more of a dewy option from Ere Perez, but you can see that it works really well to kind of come down from that if you want to use a powder. And you're going to get something more matte off the bat if you want to with the With Simplicity. So this is a bit of a deep dive into the two as a comparison, but you can go even deeper into these separate reviews on the Style Shaker. And I do have other medium coverage foundations, some concealers that I use, just overall complexion favorites and top performers, the best of the Style Shaker. Again, it's just easier to keep them all up to date on the website. Depending on when you're seeing this, it may or may not be updated. That's the thing about YouTube. So it's all there for you. Let me know what you're thinking between these two. Which side do you like better? This one or this one? With Simplicity or Ere Perez? Let me know in comments. If you have something else that is similar to this that you recommend, pop that in comments as well with your skin type. It's really helpful for the community. I'm going to go test some more products. I'll see you right back here real soon. Until then, bye.